Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video here at tablemon. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today we're going to be playing with what I've dubbed TM Sard, right? Because it relies on the technical machine evolution in order to try and evolve on turn 1, finding energy through Arven and finding the TM, attaching to whatever's active, and then hopefully evolving your 2 Charmanders on the bench on turn 1 into Charmeleon, ready to have a potential double Charizard EX attack on turn 2. You still play Rare Candy, you also get to evolve your Bidoof into Bibarel to be able to draw and recover from any sort of late game Ionos and whatnot during the game, but this is a list that was showed first, or something similar, by Shintaro Ito in the Tournament of Champions they just had in Japan with our current standard format, so I figured it looked cool. I'm not super convinced that this is better than the 4 Rare Candy version, but if there starts to be a lot of Iron Valiant and TM Devolution, then there might be merit to this version more than the 4 Rare Candy plus Pidgeot version. You could also just play 4 Rare Candy with Bibarel, though it is less reliable. I did find the lack of costing options with this deck a little bit harsh. Countercatcher, of course, a fantastic card, but late game bosses orders is usually what wins a lot of games, right? So a second copy would be something that I would love to have, but we're gonna play with this. Let's jump into a ladder and see if Charizard EX can stand up to the decks in the metagame right now. For the channel, you can use code tablemon to get 5% off at Town Store for your online codes, 10% off for your sealed product at Flipside Gaming, and 10% off on your aluminum accessories at TC Evolutions. Or if you're looking to buy singles or sleeves, you can fill up your cart and close the tab, then click on the affiliate link in the description and check out. That way you can support the channel over at TCG Player, Card Market, and Dragon Shield. ¿Eres de México y necesitas cartas de Pokémon? Busca Hyper Beam Cards en Facebook e Instagram. Y si estás en Tijuana, búscalos en el local C27 en el Centro Comercial Otay. Alright, so we lose the coin flip. My opponent does allow me to go first, which I think is correct in this meta. We have a pretty sad hand, not gonna lie. However, Mew could definitely help us fix that. Now we are up against a Charizard deck as well. Could just establish the Charmander here, but I do feel like going for the Mew is gonna be decent. Gives me a chance at the Battle VIP Pass, even though I priced 2. Yeah, that could be really bad, but we're gonna try. Yeah. If you're going for Mew, sometimes it is worth it to check for your Battle VIP passes. As we can see, that's a big whiff. Now I have absolutely nothing to go off of next turn, and I'm going to be falling pretty far behind here. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just start like this, right? Unplayable hand. This deck isn't playing a ton of supporters for Arven 3 Iono, so it's understandable. I mean, most decks don't play a lot of supporters anyways. My opponent also has a pretty underwhelming-ish hand. Wow, that's actually a pretty fair top deck. All right, I am definitely gonna go for the evolution TM right here. Make sure that I get those evolutions going with the Mew, get more use out of the Mew, which is pretty great, and maybe find something else here. Not super useful, honestly, because I am just gonna evolve right here. It might have even been a bad idea to grab it because I will be able to use Bibarel next turn. Alright, choose up to 2 bench Pokemon to evolve. We're gonna choose the Charmeleon. Now we are threatening the Charizard, which is of course good. Best thing for me next turn would be to grab something like Ultra Ball Lumineon KO their only Charmander, if that's the only thing they have. He didn't do much last turn. Town Store will give them 4 Seal Stone. Does that help them directly? Okay, well they did have, that was their top deck. They actually top decked the Arven, which is certainly annoying, but it is what it is. Yeah, I also top decked. Wow, Rare Candy's away. I mean, Ultra Ball's away at Rare Candy. So So they already have another Rare Candy? That is insane, actually. So they did already Arven, so I should be safe-ish. Yeah, this is not great. Yeah. So what's your last card then? So they will get the first KO, and I will get the first attack into the Charizard. What is the last card they kept? Because that's 3 Rare Candies gone now. So getting a backup Charizard is not going to be exactly easy for them. Alright, yeah, this Rare Candy should definitely not be in my hand right about now. Useless card to top deck as well. I mean, I can play it, right? But it's just not great. Alright, so I always get the 2-shot here. I guess I'll keep the Defiance Band for now available. So I'm just gonna grab the Vitality Band. And sure, I'll go ahead and evolve. I think I will attach like at least 1 energy to the Bibarel. I do have my Super Art, correct? I do. So finding it will not exactly be easy. Alright, Bibarel for 2. Has got to be the best Bibarel in the history of Bibarels. Alright, that's not horrible. I mean, I'm not super happy to help out my opponent with the Iono, but I would like to establish another Charmander myself, and that's exactly what I am able to find. So that's pretty good. My opponent could go boss KO the Bibarel. I honestly wouldn't mind that too much. 220, not a KO, but still good enough, right? Still good enough. My opponent did take that prize card, so I'm the one that can be in range of taking a knockout on a clean Charizard EX if my opponent has 1 prize card left. But you cannot compare the power of Pidgeot versus the power of Bibarel. And I quite literally have nothing I can do about that. At this point in time, at least. So what I do have in my favor though is 4 Rare Candies gone, and also I got the first attack into a Charizard. So if I am able to power up another couple Charizards, that's also gonna be pretty great. I think my #1 goal is to avoid benching Lumineon if at ever possible, and just flood the field with Charizards if I can. That's like the plan. But they do go after the Bibarel, which is understandable, right? They go back to even price cards, which is pretty good for them. So now there is a little bit more merit to the Iono, but I also don't know what my opponent has at this point in time. So we're gonna go Arven. Okay, they've taken 2 prizes, so I'm heading for 240. Still not enough to KO the Pidgeot here. I could KO the Charmander. No, that's never, ever, ever worth it. Okay, I'm just gonna grab the Ultra Ball. No, I already have Ultra Ball. What am I thinking? I really don't know what to grab. Like, there isn't a lot. Sure, you know what? I'll grab the Ultra Ball, and then I'll grab you. And then I will also use Town Store just to further thin the deck. And I would love to establish another Charmander, but I don't think I need to just yet. I do get this KO, which is pretty fantastic. And so right now, even though my opponent is ahead in prizes, it's potentially 2 Charizards against 1. And that's the big thing. Wow, my opponent not even bothering to promote the free retreating Pidgeot, which is outstanding to say the least. That is the 4th Rare Candy now gone. Wow, they just had that, right? And they haven't even used quick search, they just had that. Okay. So this is definitely problematic, and yep, that Iono hurts. That Iono hurts for sure. Right, I do get an Arven, however. They also have their own Radiant Charizard, which I cannot realistically play around successfully. Yeah, this is really bad. I can't believe they just had that in hand. I really can't believe they just had that. Okay, so we're gonna Town Store again. And so I can Arven this turn. It's just I need too many cards. I need this, and I also need the counter catcher for like next turn. So sure, well, you know what? Town Store is still available, so I'm not gonna grab the Defiance Band. At least not yet. Okay, Energy Search, there are 2 energies available. So then my Ultra Ball discard will be the TM and the Lost Vacuum, right? Yeah. Right. Okay, well, playing super bare bones, it does come down to the top decks. My opponent can only evolve to another Charizard through Charmeleon, so that is important to note. And then I will be the one to use Radiant Charizard first, it seems, because now my opponent will knock me out, and I will knock them out with Radiant Charizard, right? Or at least that's the plan. But yeah, the fact that I don't have access to boss's orders in any way, shape, or form is really bad. There's a Charmeleon, so incredible draws. Yeah, incredible draws. All right, Super Odd. Putting back, yep, Charizard and Fires. And now they lost CD, so now I cannot get my Defiance Band, which probably wouldn't matter, right? So I guess I can win with a boss's orders, right? I take this knockout. Okay. I take this knockout. I want to play down my hand as much as I can. And then I can go boss KO Pidgeot, right? So best case scenario for me is my opponent has to search for the Charizard with Pidgeot, and therefore they don't Iono me. And if they do Iono me, I have Lumineon and like 1 Ultra Ball left in the deck to potentially win the game. Well, I actually have 2 Ultra Balls because the other one's in my hand, right? So yeah, I mean, sure, you'll use your Radiant Charizard, maybe even go boss attack my Radiant Charizard yourself. That's definitely what you need to do, right? If they need to search for the fire, perhaps they might not even be able to Iono me, right? And then would you Iono your opponent from 3 to 2 and risk a miss? Probably not. There's the quick search, however. Now, the cool thing here is, okay, they probably search for the Charizard. The cool thing here is that even if they did Iono and take a knockout, I don't have to attack. It's actually better for me not to attack, because then I get 2 turns to be able to find the boss's orders. And they do have the Iono. Geez, this person just does not miss a beat. That's like, you can have everything in your hand, right? You absolutely can, but like, come on. And the fact that I top deck the boss is also bad news, right? Like, me top decking the boss is actually bad because now it's at the bottom of my deck. All right. Well, I'm not attacking, so the Charizard cannot KO me. If Charizard comes up to attack, then they lose the game, right? So they need to go quick search for Escape Rope, if they even play it, which based on the whole game, they definitely will be playing it. Or Penny, right? Escape Rope or Penny. There's the Escape Rope. All right, so one turn. You know, one turn to find... One turn to find either Ultra Ball or Lumineon or Boss. Any of those. Ultra Ball or Lumineon or Boss. We go Lost Vacuum. Sure. Maybe I might have a third turn because they did attach all their energies. Well, that's not it. Okay, so now I need them to not have a way to retreat. Unreal though, like the fact that they had everything each turn is unreal. But yeah, just one more energy, attach, retreat, KO. Or the Penny, sure. That works. All right, so on to the next match. All right, I mean, last game we had such of a start, right? That it was incredible that it came down to that top decking boss or Ultra Ball or Lumineon play. It is what it is, not much you can do about it. But this start, however, is looking a lot more promising, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And that is one of the hindrances of playing Bibarel as opposed to Pidgeot, right? Pidgeot, of course, can search for anything you need, whereas Bibarel cannot, right? And my hand was super clogged up and just awkward in general. All right, so now we're up against a Roaring Moon deck, which is very certainly scary. Now we're gonna go ahead and Mysterious Tail, hoping to find not that. All right, but it is what it is. Based on the fact that I now have the Rare Candy and I'm not gonna rely on the TM evolution, I'm gonna go ahead and grab, tempted to grab an Iono actually for next turn, and then I'm gonna go for a Seal Stone and get a Bibarel, well, get Battle VIP Pass, and off of that get Bidoof and Charmander. I think that seems pretty correct. This deck, you don't expect an Iono in turn one. They go more like big damage, quickly deal with threats, right? So that's good. And if they target on my Lumineon for the 2 prizes, I am okay with that. If they... Ooh, you know what? I should have grabbed Arven. Because if they... I mean, in order to get the KO with Defiance Band, but it's okay. We will manage. That was definitely a mistake though. Definitely a mistake. So I'm wondering if I just retreat into the Lumineon. Because that way I can get the KO, right? Nah, I think that's a little greedy though. Yeah, that seems a little greedy. So we'll see. The awkward thing is that 230 HP, which means it's out of range of Vitality Band. You need Defiance Band, but if they get the tool card, the Ancient Energy Booster. What's the name of the card? The Ancient Tool card. They will survive the hit no matter what, right? Which is bad news. However, my opponent not doing anything at all, so they might be AFK. No, all right. There we go. Ultra Ball, Darkness, and Pulpad. There's the Squawk. There's the Dark Patch. So off to a pretty strong start. Not gonna restart for one, just gonna go for this quick and seize. That is 2 dark patches gone, along with the collapsed stadium, so both things could be promising. It goes for the Pokestop, discarding another darkness, and the boss will be able to find the Battle VIP Pass, possibly for Greninja to draw an extra 2 cards. No Greninja, just 1 Roaring Moon. So no more Pico, no Greninja, no Brute Bonnet. Just gonna take the attachment and maybe pass. Now, very luckily for me, I do have the boss's order, so I can easily chase down this Mew EX. And the fact that my opponent plays Mew EX probably signifies that there is Energy Switch somewhere in the list, so that you can power up Mew EX in one go. So that is important to note here. And no, doesn't even bother retreating, so just gonna hand me the first 2 prize cards. That is also very questionable. All right. So now in this 2 prize exchange, right? As long as I have the Charizards to back it up, I should be able to win this. And I also have Radiant Charizard as well as an endgame attacker. Oh my gosh, and I just messed up. I did not attach an energy to the Mew. Good job, Pablo. Good job. Wow, that is really bad on my part. That is a complete and the complete and horrible mistake I just made. Like, I cannot explain how bad that was. Whoops. And I prized 2 Bibarels. Okay. Well, things just got really bad really quickly. I make mistakes, you know? We all do. I make mistakes as well. So now I've exposed myself to the possibility of my opponent going boss, KO the Charizard EX. And so instead of being 2 prizes ahead and probably in an ultimately 100% game winning position, I just threw that away. And that's really dumb. Yeah, so learn from your mistakes. Yeah, that was my mind going into automatic pilot and just being like, yes, a lot of energy, and then power up your Charmanders, and then how do you retreat, Pablo? How do you retreat? So really bad. Really bad on my end there. But I mean, part of it is recognizing, like, part of growing as a Pokemon player is learning from your mistakes. I have been playing for over 20 years and I am still prone to making these silly mistakes. I think I make them more when I'm recording a video, I am talking, I am like distracted by my own thoughts and trying to present whatever I'm talking about, etc, etc. So it's not an excuse, yeah, it's just something that happens and has happened historically since I started tablemon, and people love to point that out, which is understandable, right? And it is what it is. You know? Putting yourself out there means you're definitely more likely to get criticized, and it's part of it. And it's part of it being a content creator. The important thing is learning from your mistakes. You know? No matter if you're starting to play now or you're a veteran, you can always make silly mistakes like I just did. All right. So now you can't even KO with combustion. All right. So like I said, this is definitely a problem. So, I mean, now, jeez, like there's just no excuse, right? I feel like I grabbed these two, like for discard purposes, but I mean, the Bibarel being prized also really sucks, makes every follow-up play, both Bibarels being prized, makes every follow-up play just incredibly difficult. All right, so here's my train of thought. I should counter-catcher this friend. You know? I definitely think that's what I need to do here, because I get a KO there, and then my opponent's only powered up Pokemon is this active Roaring Moon, and all 4 dark patches are gone. I will leave 1 energy on this Charizard, because then if my opponent uses the Roaring Moon to KO me, then they are in trouble, right? They KO themselves as well, and that's not a good thing for them. All right, let's hope we can free up a Bibarel here. We have a solid chance of finding one of the 2 Bibarels of these 2 prize cards, and that will give me a lot of play. I do not, unfortunately, so it is what it is. All right, so what is my opponent gonna do this turn? They power up there. They will Pokestop. We haven't seen Greninja. My opponent has not played Professor Sada. So I guess their best play here is they sacrifice themselves and then they promote the 290 HP friend. Like, that's probably the plan. This card's a dark for another Roaring Moon, so still no single price Pokemon. And there's the Professor Sada. So like I said, the Mew, I haven't seen any energy switches up until now, so now I'm starting to doubt they actually have them, but my opponent definitely has a decision to make here, and they are down 2 Boss's Orders and a PAL pad as well. So they do have the KO, or the potential KO on Lumineon eventually, but it's not guaranteed by any means. And if they do sacrifice themselves, then I could get 2 prizes off of that, and then maybe with the help of Bibarel, as long as it's not in my last 2 prizes, I might be able to get the last KO. All right. So, and then if they don't self KO, I still win, right? Okay, so they are going to do it. I don't imagine you ever just attack. There's a Frenzied Gouging, so going after the bench. Roaring Moon was certainly the play. We both KO each other. We both take 2 prize cards. Now, the interesting thing here is I do find Bibarel, and I do find an Ultra Ball. So I have a chance at finding Boss's Orders, for sure. Maybe I should have attached the other energy to the Mew from the Charizard. So plenty of mistakes on my part. If I had just taken a knock on the Mew, I would have won this game already, pretty much. My opponent has to promote this friend, right? They have to. There's no way around it. So how many Pokestops are they down? They're only down 2 Pokestops and 1 collapse. So they probably will have another stadium. But I mean, at least I force more out of them. Oh, wait. If they promote this, I can just Arven for the Lost Vacuum. There we go. GG. Right? Arven for the Lost Vacuum. And that's a game. They're at 2 prize cards. I get rid of. I was thinking of Lost Vacuum away their stadium so that they wouldn't be able to go boss Lumineon KO. But all I need to do is this, knock out the Roaring Moon. So despite my silly mistake, I was able to recompose myself and find a way to win. Yeah, same as the previous game, right? I started pretty badly and I still managed to pull myself into the game pretty straightforwardly, right? But always finding a way to win. Yeah. So making up for your mistakes, trying your best, and always figuring out a way on how to win. That's my motto. I live to win in the Pokemon trading card game. That's what my whole channel revolves around. I'm here to own up to my misplays and mistakes, learn from them, and show how, despite making those excruciatingly bad plays, you can still win games. And like I said, it's very different when you're sitting down, recording, talking all the time, getting distracted by your own thoughts. Things are semi-automatically, whereas in real life, like physically attaching the energies to a Charmander and seeing the Mew and not like remembering that you need one on the active, I feel like that definitely happens less often in real life, at least to me, right? But anyways, enough of my rant. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed. Not a big fan of this version of Charizard. I think I prefer the Quad Candy Pidgeot version, but to each their own. Thanks so much, and until next time. Bye-bye.